Okay, guys, so we're going to cover a few things about Bitcoin. I'm going to cover a few charts. Look, this video I put out on July 2nd. I was talking about potentially Bitcoin would drop as low as 20,000 by July 24th. Now, I have an updated version of this. I think it's more likely it'll be the lower 20,000s around July 26th. I don't think we'll drop this low. It is possible, so it's a target to watch. I'm going to show you why this is the case. Before we get into that though, guys, all of these charts I'm going to be showing, you can get access to them. They're live. You just click the link, they load up. You do not need a TradingView account. If you do have a TradingView account though, my charts are shareable. You can save them as your own. So $39 a month, get access to Bitcoins, altcoins, precious metals, access to our Discord and Twitter. Stocks at $59 a month, and tutorials teach you my method of charting I came up with. I have tutorials showing you from beginning to end. I narrate. So if you will learn how to create charts like I do, you can do that by accessing the tutorials. And again, this is our Discord, guys. I mean, I think the Discord alone is worth the price of admission. You know, people here share their own charts, and you know, they show what they're seeing. This guy's talking about a possible head and shoulders. So again, it's a wealth of knowledge, 24/7. You know, people share their own trades. We have live trades. People actually share their trades when they get in, when they get out. So you guys can actually enter when they enter if you'd like. We have Bitcoin charts, altcoin charts, 1 minute trading. We have biggest stock gainers. A lot of people in this community, they chip in, they share information. They're trying to make you aware of what's going on. So we got biggest stock gainers, biggest stock losers, stuff about the Dow Jones. So again, a lot of information here, guys. So when you do join or you sign up to get access to the charts, you get access to our Discord as well. And then I'm going to cover a tweet to show you how powerful these rings are. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. So this is a video I was talking about. We're going to cover this chart as well. I'm going to show you why I don't think we might not hit this target. I think we might hit a little higher, and I think the date will be more like the 26th. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Alessio. He put up a video recently about this guy. His name is Robert Prechter. And he's saying that he thinks this year we're going to have a crash with the Dow Jones. Now, if you guys have been following me, a lot of the times I do live streams, I don't have the NASDAQ up. I don't have the S&P up. I use the Dow Jones. The reason I use the Dow Jones is because it goes so far back, I have more data to build these charts from. Well, he's basically using Fibonacci and time Fibonacci as a time sequence. And guys, Fibonacci is used all through nature, and I'll tell you what, when you go into charting and stocks and crypto, if you use a simple Fib retracement, most of the tools that they give you for trading is based on Fibonacci. Golden ratio, all of these Fibonacci numbers are used for trading, and they work. But it also works for time. And the method of charting I came up with, I use rings to show not only support and resistance. Notice this guy is showing peaks and bottoms on specific dates that match up with the Fibonacci sequence. Notice this time's getting shorter and shorter, so we're saying pretty soon we could have a major correction with the stock market. I agree. I think it's about to happen. And again, this is how, with this method of charting, I was able to predict the stock market crash before it happened, about a month in advance. This chart was published right here on January 7th, 2020. I said our targets we're going to hit were right here. If I hit play, you'll notice when we came down, we hit my targets. We bottomed on this ring. This was a target already set up. I'm going to play this out a bit. Later I'm going to reference this. Notice this green ring. This was resistance, support, resistance. This is actually an orange ring on another chart. We're going to come back and reference this in a minute. This is also how I was able to predict Bitcoin was going to crash. I did not know how correlated Bitcoin and the US markets were until after. But notice every time we cross the yellow ring, drop. Cross yellow ring, drop, cross yellow ring, drop, and we were riding right up this yellow ring, so it made sense. Stock market's about to crash. It looks like every time we cross the yellow ring, we're about to cross this one, that we would get a dump, and that's what happened. Again, February 19th, 2020. I cannot edit these charts. Once they're published, they're published. I can change the title, I can change the description and the category and save changes, but I can't edit the actual chart. Once these are published, they're published. This is also how I was able to predict the bottom. This is my peak of the bull run chart. If you'll notice, this was a tweet I made a while back when we were coming down after I said, hey, look, stock market's about to crash, Bitcoin's about to crash. I also nailed the bottom. And again, this is all using Fib circles. Notice when I hit play, notice this red ring. We've been expecting this red ring going way back. Again, we're expecting a Fib circle to the left you'll respect it to the right. This was how I was able to nail the bottom down to the dollar. Notice right here, when we dropped, we found perfect support on this red ring. That's how I was able to tell people, hey, buy in at 3,880. Right here at this point, we pushed up. This is how I was able to call the top at 65K. And believe it or not, guys, I did. This was a chart I published on November 14, 2020. And I'm trying to explain to you the power of Fib circles. You know, like that guy I just showed you that's using, you know, time-based Fibonacci. The great thing about Fib circles is it shows you support and resistance, timing for moves, all encompassed so you can visualize it. But notice this orange ring was resistance. You know, we pushed up to this orange ring as support and resistance. This red ring was resistance. But notice what happens. Since we're respecting this orange ring, this is all the same Fib circle. Every one of these orange rings is part of an orange Fib circle. So notice what happens when I hit play. Again, this is November 14, 2020. If I hit play, you notice we get a slight rejection at this orange ring. We get topped out at this orange ring, come down, right down this ring. So I'm going to hit play here. So look, we came up and we hit right here at this orange ring. It's not a coincidence. It is a method of charting I came up with using Fib circles. It tells you not only when to get in, when to get out, but when potential moves happen. And notice when we intersected this red ring and this white ring, was at a specific time. And notice we found perfect support, perfect support. So I think it's likely, and I'm going to get into this in the actual chart, but I think it's very likely that we're going to come down and test. It's going to be the low 20K range. It's going to be a little higher than 20K, but again, I do believe when we hit this ring, I do think it will be on the 26th, and I do think it's when we make contact with this orange ring. This is on the weekly, by the way. So, and again, I'm going to go through the charts. I'm going to show you why this is the case. I'm going to give you some support and resistance levels as well to watch, like more micro targets. This was a tweet I made. This was on July 12th. And I'm going to show you this chart as well. So I'm going to give you some current price targets. But what I was talking about, I said we crossed ring on H1 chart in about 4 hours. I was talking about this green ring. And then I said, I call that a pivot. What do you think? As soon as we crossed it, we came down. Made another tweet about it. And right here, so this is the most recent chart. And then I was saying also, right here, crossing white ring on H1, be ready. And they're saying pretty cool. Yeah, that's two pivot rings that played out back to back. So this was the first pivot ring I was talking about. Notice we've got resistance. We crossed this ring. We came all the way down. We pushed up and sideways. This was the next pivot ring. You have a perfect pointy short. We seem to be in a bear market. We're in a downtrend. So you knew, like, price is going sideways. When do you short? When you cross this ring. That was a hell of a short. Started going sideways and up. When's the next time you short? When you cross this ring. Look at that drop. So again, that's what I do on Twitter, and notice I reference it as H1 and G1 or C1. Again, that's why I have these labels, so it's easy to access them. And again, all these charts do play out live. So let's get into this. Let me show you why I believe this is the case. Again, like I just showed you with this chart here. Notice that, you know, we did get slight rejection. Let me zoom in a bit here. Notice we got resistance, support, right here, this orange ring. We got topped out at this orange ring. So again, what I think is going to happen is, you know, we intersected this orange ring and this red ring, this white ring. It does seem likely that we'll probably bottom. I think when these 2 points intersect, that's when we're going to bottom. I'm not saying we can't go lower. It just seems like this is a likely point to catch a nice bounce to push up. Let me show you that chart. So again, this is the chart, and I would like to point out, if you'll notice how well we're respecting this orange ring right here, you notice we pushed up as support. And you can see right here the same thing happening. Pushed up, finally it was support, right? So I would like to point out, just going by time, if you go from when we started finding support on this ring to when we had our drop, it was roughly 44 days. And you can see once we pushed above this, you know, currently we're at 38 days. So, you know, 44 to 45 days is going to put us right at this apex, which is going to be like July 26th, July 27th. So I think it's very possible, but by July 26th, July 27th, that'll be the point we bottom. So if you have access to the charts, guys, if you are subscribed to these charts, make sure you have the E1 chart up. That is the first target to watch. This is the G1 chart. I talked about this in previous videos. I said, look, if once we get below, and I showed in previous videos that we've been respecting this the support level going back since the beginning of Bitcoin. I said once we got underneath it, it became resistance. That's when I know that it's going to be bearish. So I expect much more downside, but I do believe that our downside target is going to be around July 26. I don't see this pushing up. Anything is possible. Had we pushed back above 33,300 and it became support, I would get bullish for more upside. That did not happen. This support level is now resistance. So if we do push up, watch 33,300 to get rejected. Again, very strong support since the beginning of Bitcoin. That will become strong resistance to push us down. And just want to make sure you're very aware, I do think that we will potentially, around the 26th of July, that is when we will bottom, and I think it will be on this ring. So if you do have access to charts, make sure you load the E1 chart up. So again, what I wanted to point out, this method of charting I came up with, remember when I said pay attention to this green kind of a ghosted bluish fib circle? Notice we came up as resistance, support, resistance, support. Remember, this was published on January 7th, 2020. And notice resistance, support, resistance. Well, this is the actual chart for the Dow Jones. And this is what I'm referencing. While I did change the color, I made it orange, but this is what I was talking about right here. This was resistance, support, resistance, support, and you can see that matches completely with this chart here. So you already had a roadmap, potentially when to short, when to long, when to short, when to long. Again, the power of fib circles, not only for timing moves, but for support and resistance. So what I'm getting at with the Dow Jones, I was telling people that, again, just like this chart here for Bitcoin, knowing that we're respecting this orange ring back here was resistance, resistance, slight resistance, rejected, came down. Why I'm saying this is going to be support down here, potentially when we intersect this ring. Again, fib circles show you potential tops. So if you look at the Dow Jones, every time we come up, this orange ring has been respected. Resistance, support, resistance. We pushed up to the next one. We got resistance. They passed the stimulus package. We pushed up. Said if we push up, we're going to get topped out, this orange ring. And I said once we cross this yellow line right here on the Dow Jones, I said that's it. That's game over. That's when we're starting to come down. So yes, we are above this orange ring a bit. We've been pushing above it. There's resistance, support. It became support, support. So again, I think pretty soon we're going to break the support, and the next target below will be down here. So I'm expecting pretty soon that we're going to come down and test 30,868. Now, can we go lower? Of course. Could we get a bounce? Sure. And if you play the stock market, you can swing trade the hell out of it, just like you could have back here. But what I'm getting at is once you break a ring, I do think we are ultimately topped out right now at this area, and I do think our next target will be here. And if we go lower, well, we have targets below as well. This orange ring has been respected. This yellow ring has been respected as well. So this would be a target down below. My point is a lot of people are talking about we're topped out. My chart shows me we're topped out. This is the same chart I used last time to predict the stock market crash. So again, I do believe we are due for a crash. This is the H1 chart, guys. This is what I was talking about. This was the pivot ring I was talking about in that tweet. Right here, see this green ring and this white ring? You can see what happened. When we crossed this ring, we dropped a total of about 4.76%. Now, if you're using leverage, you could have done pretty well. And this one here, as soon as we crossed this ring, we came down a total of almost 4.5%. So that's about almost 10%. Had you just shorted from when we crossed this ring right here, that right there is 7.77%. So that's what I'm talking about. And then you can see this right here. This chart has been, these lines have been here way before price got to it. But notice how well price is respecting it. Notice we came down to support, support, support. It became resistance, resistance, and we're forming a pattern. We pushed up, it became support. Notice this blue line was resistance, pushed up again as resistance, and it came down to perfect support. So if we push up, just some current resistance levels, your first resistance to watch is 31,988, and your current support is right here, 31,166. But please keep in mind, the most important thing, if we get above 33,300, get bullish, because that is going to be very strong resistance. And remember, guys, while we could come down and test, 19,890, 19,893, that is the next strongest support level on this chart. I do think it's more likely that this will be the point where we'll find support, and again, use the E1 chart, and I do think that'd be July 26th. I'm going to cover a few more things here. So I just need you to understand, Bitcoin is a hedge against the US dollar. This is the DXY above. This is Bitcoin. Notice when the dollar is coming down, Bitcoin is pushing up. As soon as Bitcoin is coming down, well, when the dollar pushes up, Bitcoin comes down. And you can see right here, this was, our COVID crash. You can see right here, COVID crash. Notice the dollar was coming down. Bitcoin pushed up. And you can see what's happening now. The dollar is starting to push up. Bitcoin is coming down. And guys, everybody's talking about inflation. I believe deflation is coming, not inflation. I'm going to show you that as well. And this is just an example. This is also down below is the US dollar, and above is I'm trying to get these matched up. This is the 2nd of March 2009. Same here, and this is the 23rd of March 2020. It's hard to get them to match exactly, but this is just so you can reference them and see that they're matched up. But what I want to show you is, if you'll notice, and this is explaining why, and keep in mind, guys, while I'm using specifically the Dow Jones because it goes back further and have more data, the point of this, while the NASDAQ and the S&P also has an influence, if the markets are pushing up, the dollar will be coming down. If the dollar pushes up, markets will come down. The point is, you can see on the 2nd of March 2009, we had this was a bottom for the Dow. This is also a peak for the US dollar. And then if we zoom into our COVID crash right here, you can see what happened. Now it doesn't look like that much, but when the dollar moves, it's a major move for markets. We had a drop with the Dow Jones of a total of I think it's about 36%. And when that happened, while the dollar did come as well, the first one to recover was the US dollar, and it pushed up a total of almost 8.63%. So what I'm getting at is, yes, when the dollar is pushing up, that's when you need to get bearish on markets and bearish on Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin. And keep this in mind. This is so important. You need to understand this. Whatever price Bitcoin happens to be at, if we have a market crash, so I'm talking about U.S. markets, if the Dow's going to crash, thousands and thousands of points, trust me, the NASDAQ and the S&P are going to crash at the same time. It might be some black swan event, something's going to happen, but when the markets come down, they all come down together. But just to show you, the Dow came down a total of, roughly 36%, something like that. Bitcoin dropped 68%. So my point is whatever price Bitcoin might be, if the markets start correcting, you do not want to be in Bitcoin. So as far as the reason, this guy, again, he was talking about, he's using time-based Fibonacci to predict a possible drop. I'm telling you that according to my chart with the Dow Jones, because we've been respecting these rings so well, that I do believe that we are topped out now. And I said, guys, I've talked about this for a while, as soon as we break this yellow line, that's it. I do see that we pushed up above as support, but guys, I do think it's very possible we're coming down. That is why I'm going to be doing a live stream on Monday morning. So do make sure you tick the notification bell all if you're not subscribed. If you are subscribed. So let me cover this. So another reason why this is a perfect storm, guys. So this is just crypto related. Look, Binance, world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, gets banned by UK regulators. There's regulations that are happening like crazy for cryptocurrency. China ban forces some Bitcoin miners to flee overseas or sell out. Again, there's a lot of things going on that's affecting crypto, that's pushing the price down. So, if we're at 30,000 now, imagine what would happen if the markets crash at 30,000. Bitcoin could go so much lower. But just the U.S. markets alone, we have labor shortages. I guess because people are getting unemployment, they're not wanting to go back to work. There's other reasons, I'm sure. I mean, I guess people are used to being at home. A lot of businesses have changed their structure where people can work from home. So businesses are suffering. They can't get people to work. You've got let's see here. I there's shortages of supplies around the world. I did not know you couldn't find chicken wings and diapers. Apparently that's the case. I do know about new cars prices are going up. They're harder to find. Even used car prices are going up. This is because we have a semiconductor shortage, and this is affecting everything. Graphics cards, computers, everything electronic, and that's why some car makers aren't making new cars, because they can't get the chips to make the new cars. So it is affecting everything. The semiconductor shortage is having a serious impact on electronics all over the world. And then you have this Delta strain. Some of you might think, I know some of you think that this is a hoax and it's not really a big deal, but we know what happened the last time we had a major spike with COVID cases. We had lockdowns and it caused the stock market to drop. This is the United Kingdom. And currently, United Kingdom cases are catching up to where it was, back. This was back when we had our original peak back in 2020. So other countries are going to be catching up to the UK soon. Right now, you can see the United States is not as bad. United States. So right now, it's not as bad, but it's going to catch up. Some countries are worse than others. But again, this new Delta variant is a lot more contagious and is spreading faster. Again, this is just one other metric showing you why I think everything's coming to a head. This is U.S. debt clock. This is just insane. You can see how fast this is counting up. 28,531,896,000,000 and counting. It's just, the bubble is about to pop. Everything seems like it's in a bubble. Bitcoin, I think the Bitcoin bubble has already popped. I think the stock market bubble is about to pop. That might coincide when we start having this correction, which I think is going to happen I think we will potentially have hit around the low 20,000 range around July 26th. And again, it was based on that E1 chart. So again, guys, if you do want to get access to these charts, and again, if you want to have these price targets, I do keep all the label charts updated. I will be doing some updating some charts, especially some altcoin charts and stock charts, Sunday and later Monday after the live stream. But guys, do pay attention. I do think that by the 27th, I do think that is potentially when we're going to test this lower target for at least a nice bounce, guys. I scalp trade, so I'll buy here, write it up to a potential point, take my profit before I think it comes back down. This could be the bottom, and we push up for 100K from here. That's very possible. I know that I have some charts. If you check my Peak of the Bull Run 2.0 chart, that's the G1 chart, this one here. My target when we peak will be in December of this year. That does depend on the stock market. We'll have to see what happens. But guys, that's just what I want to cover. I do think it's very possible the stock market is going to have a correction. A lot of other people believe this is the case as well. They don't know exactly when. I think that just based on when I think Bitcoin is going to potentially drop and seeing that we're topped out with the markets, I do think July 26th is going to be the point where everything starts coming down. So again, July 26th, I think we'll have already reached this target here. But again, if the stock market crashes a lot lower, this could be temporary support before coming down much lower. And if this support breaks, your next support to watch is going to be around the $20,000 range. And again, guys, you want to access these charts, the website's optimalcrypto.com. Link can be pinned to the first comment and description. Again, $39 a month. Get access to Bitcoin, altcoins, precious metals, our Discord, and Twitter. And I do have stocks and tutorials. Tutorials teaching my method of charting. Go check that out. But guys, that's pretty much it. Until the next video, trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.